building community. Stay notified by subscribing to our channel. Click the link below for more.
Chrissy,
Hi.
we live?
We online. I'm just waiting on Lashley to start.
Okay, so I could move or I need to stay put?
Stay put.
Okay.
Hello everyone, Jenny?
Yes, we are.
Ah, sorry about the technical difficulty there. You know, once it is that you seek to go live, there's always something that can go wrong. But we're now live, and it is that we're going to proceed with our program because we're very excited about our program Ask Why Show. It's all here to help educate individuals on what it takes towards building generational wealth. So I am your host, Lashley Butcher, your insurance guy, founder of LP Global Solutions, and host of the Ask Why Show. And we also have Chrissy, our co-host. Chrissy?
Hi, guys. It's really a pleasure to be here again this afternoon. We went with part one of this program a couple weeks ago, and I'm sure a lot of you who joined us on the show are eager and anticipating part two. So we can't wait to get this through, and we can't wait for Kevin Thompson to deliver the second part of the show, 10 times your productivity.
Yes, we have our returning guest, Kevin Thompson. Kevin Thompson is really a very much a person who has been doing a lot of work as a therapist, right? He's a consultant, author, and one who has given us really, really good nuggets. And today he's coming back as our guest to complete, the all the information that he has for us on 10 times your productivity. So if it is that you're struggling with your productivity, you're in the sales, you're in the marketing, whatever it is that you're into, and it is that you wish to increase your productivity, you're on the right program here today with Kevin Thompson, who will introduce himself, give us a little recap of what it is that we went through the last time that we had him on, and then we will go into the meat of this discussion. So, Kevin, how are you today?
I'm fantastic.
All right. All right. Yes, that with that smile, it is that certainly everything seems to be going your way.
It always is, it doesn't matter what happens. Things are good. It's always great.
Okay. Okay.
Fortunately or unfortunately, I am the person that people usually call when things are not going right. So in doing that, while they're coming to me for help, I usually, they would never know this, but I learn more from them than they can ever get from me. And
Wow.
it showed me just how I should be always grateful for what it is I have, for the situation. So even the challenges that I have, I need to be grateful for that because it is solvable. And I just need to position myself, apply myself, or sometimes simply wait. But it does work out every single time.
Right, right. Now, I mean to say, Kevin, a lot of people are going through all kind of things with this pandemic. People are locked inside. People are scared to go out. Um, they have seen their productivity going down. Some people have lost their jobs. Give us a little background of what it is that you do so that people would have the confidence to really listen to what it is that you have to say. And also, we encourage them to invite individuals so that they could get the information that they're to be.
Well, where do I start? I have spent the last 22 years in personal development coaching and family counseling. I spent the last 11 years in my own clinic where I would help people with all sorts of problems with procrastination, with public speaking, with the fear of success, with people who suffer from anxiety, depression, and a host of other challenges. I've done that part for the last 11 years, and I think everything in total is about 21, 22, 23 years. I have seen over 10,000 people in those 22 years. Not just people here in Trinidad, but people from different countries as well, other Caribbean countries, as well as different parts of the globe. I have been certified by 7 of the world's largest governing bodies. And as a result of that, it gave me the skills, the tools, the resources, and the ability to see so many people. It gave me the experience I need to be able to share more and guide the people when they are in trouble. Um, the best nugget I could take to start to generally say is this: find a good mentor, find a good guide in life, and don't treat your life like a foreign used car. Most people, when they buy a foreign used car, they wait until the car starts to give trouble before they go to the mechanic. However, people who have a new car, they carry their car in for services regularly at specific intervals. I'm saying with your life, with your success, find a good mentor, find a good guide, and have intervals with them, regular intervals where you can go in just to ensure that you are on track, that you set the right goals that are right for you, that you are well positioned, that you have the best resources, that you have the best support. Do that regularly to make sure that you are still on course. Don't wait until things go wrong and then throw your hands in the air and run to the hills
Yeah.
and slit your wrist. You know, so stay connected to the people who have been there and know how to get there. That's my best
Right.
advice to anybody.
And that's really, really good sound advice. So let's recap so people know where it is we were and where it is that we're going with this whole topic of 10 times your productivity.
Okay.
So that last time it is you talked about, really having a goal, having a vision. And one of the major things that people took away in your discussion, you said it is that you need to learn to say no. Right? And that is something it is that a lot of people struggle with because you have a
Yeah.
friend. It is that you don't want them to feel as though you don't care about them. So learning to say no would be a struggle. So
Yes.
just a recap, and then let's go forward with the topic.
Let me just go through the 5 things. The first thing was to have a strong emotional connection with what it is you're pursuing. And the thing about that is that many times people start off on a journey, they have a reason and a purpose for starting off on that journey. However, somewhere along the line, they lose connection with that reason, that purpose for which they started, and their energy goes, their motivation fades, their drive just dissipates. And I encourage people revisit that purpose, that reason, that incident, whatever it is that really started you in this position, revisit that regularly so that drive and motivation to do the things you need to do will always be there. The second point I raised was visualizing yourself, not just being successful and achieving your goals, but to visualize yourself actually doing every part of the process that is needed to be successful. Many people see themselves as a success, but when it's time to do the little things, that's the little menial, mundane things that are sometimes boring and tedious. That it somehow does not measure up with the identity they have of themselves as a success. So when you visualize yourself, which is a good thing to do, also visualize yourself doing the little things that are hinged within the process of you getting to achieve your goal. The third thing is to choose your friends wisely. Make sure that the people who would call you on your phone, the people who are along for the ride on your journey, are people who are either by your side achieving the same goals you are, or parallel goals that require the same level of focus, the same level of mindset, or it is people who have been down your road way before you. They have already achieved what they already achieved what you are trying to currently achieve. And you can now lean on them, connect with them to get guidance, to get nuggets, to get advice, to get support, anything you need. Be there so that these friends now will not become distractions. These are the type of friends you wouldn't have to say no to in point number 4. Because
And,
they
before you go ahead, because you brought up having good friends. So we encouraging individuals who on the program right now. You have a friend, and it is that you want to really share that information. Send them the link. Encourage them to come on, because this program is one where we are supporting each other. So we are always going to remind you that is a program where we're supporting each other, and we want you to send that information out. We want as many people to get the information that we're sharing here today. So continue.
Yeah, thanks for that, Lashley. And just to add to what you're saying, if I can, the reality is this: if this program is something useful to you, you should go out of your way to invite your friends here. Because if you invite your friends here and they come on the program and they can't find value on programs like these, then that tells you something. It tells you something about who they are. And I'm not saying just cut them off, but I'm saying you need to focus on more serious-minded people who are trying their utmost best to get a step ahead. All right, so that's just to add to your point, Lashley. Point number 5 was to wake up earlier every single morning. Because when you wake earlier, you are sharper. You are ready for the day. You can better organize yourself, and you feel less flustered, less agitated, and the day flows your way. So those were the first 5 things that I would have shared in the last program. Now, Lashley, should I go and jump right into the rest of the points that we have for today?
Well, it is that I hope this is not too controversial, but you said that having, if you come back to the friends part, or who you have around you, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what about your spouse, husband, wife, or how much it is that we need to, if the person is single and is looking for somebody, how much they should really put into finding a person who shares their values and so forth, especially when it comes to business.
All right.
I don't know if that is what you had in mind to talk about, but I just throw it out.
That's not what I had in mind to talk about. However, let me make it simple for you. I'll say 2 things. Number 1, everyone who's listening to this program, make a friend with someone who makes $20,000 more than you in salary every month. A simple thing. Make a friend with someone who makes $20,000 more than you every month. Go and look and find somebody. If you have to interview them, how much do you make per month? And if it's not $20,000, then they're not your friend. Find somebody, at least one person who makes $20,000 more than you, and make a friend out of that person. Go with them where they hang out, where they socialize, where they go to shop for clothing, where they do their hair, where they groom themselves, when they go to movies. Go with them on those ventures. And you will just, in a very organic way, just find that your life will begin to change. That's the first thing in terms of friends. Secondly, put everyone in your life into categories. Know who are the detractors in your life, put them in a category. Also identify who are your cheerleaders. These are the people, they can't give you advice. They are not there for that. But anything you do, they are going to be there to cheer you on, to give you their full support and tell you, you can do it. You are the one. Identify who those people are. Also identify who are your raving fans. Who are the people who will just follow you to the ends of the earth? These are the people that you need to identify and ensure that you are satisfying the needs of your fans. Also identify who are your coaches, who are your mentors. And once you break people down into those categories, life is going to become much easier, because as you decide to go forward with your goals, you know who are the people you need to spend time with, which is relatively everyone, but you know how much time to spend. And when you spend time with them, you know exactly what to do and what you are looking for. You know what you're going to get, what you're not going to get. Because you're not going to go to your cheerleaders for advice. Neither are you going to go to your raving fans. You will go to your coach. You will go to your mentor. You'll go to your trainer. What's interesting as well is that because we're looking at this thing as if we are playing a game, playing a football game, a hockey game, whatever it is. And these are the different people that are in your life. The players on the field are your colleagues or other people within your niche market who are also working to achieve the same thing that you are trying to achieve. You need to liaise with them, build strong relationships with them, because you all share the same pain and experiences and battles. And by that, you can become a cohesive unit that can make every single game that you'll play the game of life or the game of business much easier. So Lashley, I hope I'm answering your question in terms of friends. You can, first thing, make a friend who is making at least $20,000 more than you. If you find 20,000 too scary for you, then make at least $10,000 more than you. And secondly, list all of the people into your life and put them into separate categories, so that you know who to go to for what and when they should be entertained as well. Lashley, is that answering your question?
Yes, and I say it is that the answer is much more than I expected, because never really you hear about, you categorize your friends as cheerleaders. Otherwise, it is that you just look at them as friends. You're saying it is that you should have them categorized in different ways. Just repeat the categories.
You broke up a little bit there. Could you repeat that, Lashley?
The different categories of friends. You said cheerleader is one.
All right. Think of it as an NFL football game, where you have players on the field. These are your colleagues who are trying to achieve the same thing as you. You have your coach on the sidelines. You have your trainers. You have the detractors in the commentator box waiting to see you do something so they can get something to talk about. You have your raving fans who will buy your t-shirts. Anything you're coming out with, they will come out to support you because they believe in you. They like your brand. They like the value that you bring. And then you have your cheerleaders, people who are just there. They are there to cheer you on. Anything you do, they are there to, in other words, their role is to motivate you. They can't give you advice. They can't give you guidance. They can't give you anything else. But they will say, listen, I know you can do it. If anybody can do this, it's you. They are your motivators. So break people up into groups where you know what you can get from people, because you don't want to go to the wrong person for the wrong thing. You will find yourself you will get bad advice. Bottom line.
So again, it is that we want to make sure that everyone who is on the call understands. You can feel free to unmute yourself, just identify, yourself, and ask whatever question that you want to get answers to, because this is what the program is all about. It's ask why. Why are you saying that, Kevin? If it is that's how you want to phrase your question, right? Why is it that this would really help me get what it is that I want? So I don't want to keep you back from getting into the point that you have towards raising this afternoon. So, Kevin, go ahead.
All right. Well, I'll start with number 6. All right. And we'll go from there. Let's see how much more time we have. We have a bit more time. Let me see how quickly I could run through this and give our guests an opportunity to ask a few questions. Number 6 on the list was a simple one. Get sufficient rest at night. In other words, get to bed early enough. so that you can get at least 8 hours rest. Now, most people don't know, but the body goes through a number of sleep cycles every single night. And within those sleep cycles, the body repairs. In one sleep cycle, it repairs the mind, the brain, and in another sleep cycle, it repairs the body. It has to go through a number of those sleep cycles repeatedly over the course of the night. If someone does not get adequate amount of sleep, what happens is that many of those sleep cycles are not achieved, so that the level of repair work, the level of restoration within the brain or the body is incomplete by morning time. So when that person raises the next morning, ready to go and work, the brain is not prepared, fully prepared. Neither is the body prepared. They feel optimistic because they want to do what they want to do, but their mind and body has not been properly restored, simply because it didn't get the opportunity of time to do that over the period of time. So what you will find is that people will get up. When people don't get enough sleep, they will wake in the morning, and for some reason they can't focus as much as they would like to. Their memory doesn't function as sharply as it should. Their thoughts, the solutions that they would normally come up with, for some reason, it's not coming to their mind. They find themselves stuck very often. The actions that they should take, they're not taking those actions. Why? Simply because the brain and the body didn't get the level of repair and refreshment it needed throughout the course of the night. So they are sluggish. What's even worse is that some people, they are accustomed not getting enough sleep. They have done that for years. And to them, this way in which they function is normal. They don't even know that it's inadequate. But because they have done it for so long, this is what it is. So I'm saying one of the great things you can do to improve your level of productivity is to ensure that both your mind and the body is completely ready in the morning, adequately ready. So as a result, get sufficient sleep and you will be fine. Number 7.
And you're recommending that everyone goes to sleep at 9 o'clock?
Well, it's the best thing to do. It is recommended that everyone should be out cold by 10.
By 10?
Out cold by 10, everyone. Now, I was a cyclist for many years, and I lost a lot of friends because when I was a cyclist, by 8:30, I'm in bed. 8:30, I'm in bed. 4 o'clock in the morning, I am on my way heading up Piaco when it's still dark. Everyone is still sleeping, and I'm on the road. And I did that for many years, and it stayed with me. But through listening to the coaches at that point in time, listening to international coaches, you will find athletes going to bed very early, unnaturally early. It's because they understand the level of repair work that's done mentally and physically. They understand the body. The coaches understand that, and that's why they program sportsmen to get sufficient rest. It's not about how hard you work out. It's about how much rest you can get and how much recovery you can get. That's what really determines performance. So I'm just also sharing that with you guys here today as well. All right. Point number 7, switch off your phone when it's time to work. When you know you have to do your work in the day, identify the people who matter the most and send them a very lovely message every day, letting them know within these hours you will not be available. You will not be able to answer any calls. Let them know that if their house happens to catch on fire, give them good advice about what they can do to quench the fire in their homes, because you will not be available. Also let them know that if there's any real dire emergency that they need to contact you with, have a protocol in place that they can contact you via the office number or any other number for information, for any other emergency. Do that and keep your phones off. Point number 8.
Now, recently there was a glitch with Facebook and WhatsApp, and I had a friend who said that they were in an argument with their lover, right? And when it is on WhatsApp went down, you're saying it is that you should do that every day?
Every day. Remember something. remember the reason why you're working for a reason. And whether it's in an office, whether it's a business, whatever it is you're working, there's a reason why you're working. And you want to be at your best because you are performing, not because you have a boss, you're performing because you want to always perform at the highest level. Because you know there's going to be an opportunity coming soon for you to rise either within that organization or in another organization. And the workload there is going to be much greater than whatever it is you want to do now. You don't want to wait until you get there at that point in time to then now try to increase your productivity, increase your focus, increase the level of work. You don't want to do that then. You want to do it now. So you want to be functioning for the next level now. You don't want any distractions. You want to get down to the work that you need to do. So you block time. You know that from this time to this time, I'm going to be working. When my lunch period comes, I will switch on my phone just to see if there are any messages or what have you. I'm going to talk to everybody who I need to talk to, and then my phone is going to be off again for another period of time. And I'm going to get down to the business of work because I am not just doing this because of my boss. I'm doing it for me. I'm setting the right habits in place for me because I don't want to be behind in my job. I don't want to be behind in my job. And even if I have a business, it's not just my business. I have competition out there. And my competition is working 24/7. If every 10 minutes I stop to answer my phone, or every 10 minutes I go on Facebook, or every 10 minutes I'm on social media or WhatsApp, if every 10 minutes I'm doing that, I am wasting very productive time. It adds up. So instead of putting myself where I need to have discipline to do that, simply just put the phone off. I don't know if it's an age thing, but I remember times when we didn't have cell phones. We went to work and we worked. We worked very well and life went on. Whatever happened, life went on. We need to get in that state where we need to focus on what we need to do. Remember, our own business, our own career, we are doing that for a reason. We have a goal for why we are doing what we are doing. And because we have that goal, we have to make sure that absolutely nothing gets in the way. And that includes ourselves. Many times we put things in place to make sure no one else gets in the way, but we don't do things to make sure that we don't get in the way of our own self. So I'm just saying, when it comes to work, I know this is going to be a big one for many people. Switch your phone off and get down to the business of the day. It's not for your boss or anybody. It is for you to inculcate the right habits of success. There are some CEOs, when there's a certain time of day, you can't get them at all because their phone is off. You call, you can't get them because when there are critical things to get done, they switch their phones out and they lock the whole world off. You have to do the same thing because you are making preparations to get there one day, and those habits need to start right now.
So Kevin, with what you're saying, I just want to,
sure,
and say to anyone who's on the call that we really and truly want to ensure that at the end of this round, anyone who had a question gets the answer to their question, because we want individuals to increase their productivity. We want that despite whatever challenges you're going through with the pandemic, that you know it is that you can get your question answered and make those decisions you need to make before the came on the outside. So this is saying, if you have a question that you want answered, feel free to unmute the mic, it's in the chat, right, that you have this question you want answered, and we will seek to answer. Yeah. So, but what I want to ask you, Kevin, based on many people you are seeing on a regular basis, what is it that people are struggling with right now? That is the majority of the people coming in. They are saying that this is what I'm having trouble with based on the pandemic, and I would like your help in this regard. What is that, if you could share without going into your private information?
The one thing, people are coming in for different things, but the things that they're coming in for is not the problem. It's a symptom of another problem. The problem that everyone has is that they don't have, they before COVID, prior to COVID, they didn't have a long-term plan. They had no real solid, clear, crystal long-term plan about where they were going, who it is they needed to be, what is the path they have to take to get there, and etc., etc., and what they need to do, what are the next 5 steps, what are the next 10 steps, how do they measure their success, their milestones. They didn't have that in place. And now that COVID is here and there are challenges, they can't measure those challenges against the path, against the plan, against the objectives, against the goals that they had before. To see, okay, if these were my goals before, if these were my dreams, if these were my objectives, if this is how I was positioned before, now that COVID has come, how has COVID changed this plan? And what do I need to do right now to get back on track with my plan in spite of what is happening? Most people are not there. They are just lost in the wilderness simply because they really never honestly had a clear and distinct plan about where they are going with their lives, what they clearly plan to achieve, and the type of individual with the values that the type of individual they want to be. They weren't clear on the values of that person. They weren't clear on the resources and the capabilities of that person. So now that COVID has come, COVID is now revealing the reality of what was not done by most people in society. That is what has happened.
Wow. That must be a difficult uh, situation to deal with, in that how do you handle that, in that the person had no plan, they now feeling lost? How do you get them back on track?
Well, the first thing is that they have to minimize the damage. They have to ask themselves, listen, right now, as it stands right now, what is it that's hurting you the most right now? Now, we know we already established you need to get a long-term plan, but a person cannot plan for long-term when presently they're in severe pain. So the question you have to ask right now is, listen, where is this pain coming from? Is it coming from my family? Is it coming from my relationship? Is it coming from my kids not being able to enter school? Is it coming because I'm struggling with this vaccination issue that I'm back and forth with because I don't want to be vaccinated and it's a mandate in the organization that I be back? You know, what you have to identify, where is this? Is it that I lost my job? I'm unemployed? What is my next step? You have to identify, where is this pain coming from first. When you identify that, now we could put a strategy in place to say, hey, here's what. This is where the pain is coming from. Let's put a strategy in to put a plug in here and get you back on track in this area. Many times people are distressed, but it's really one or two key areas where they are distressed. But to them, it's like everything has fallen apart. Their whole life is in shambles in terms of how they feel. So what you have to do is go through all of that and narrow it down to one or two areas for them to see, hey, all is not lost. There are just two key areas here that we need to address. If we address this, you can still float. You can still survive. And once we get that done, now let's take a look down the road. Let's look and see what you're going to do in the next 12 months. What is the next 5 years? Or what's the next 15, 20, 40 years from now? That's how you approach the whole thing. That's the simplest way to go forward. But you cannot go into long-term planning if the person is currently under pressure. It's not going to work.
Say it is that you're really giving us, a clear idea of how successful people are successful. Right? And as I always say to myself and I say to others, really it's about having an insurance plan, having a backup plan. You don't go into things without knowing, if this doesn't work out for me, what next? That's why it is I love my job so much as an insurance guy, right? Because we're always thinking about what's next. What happens if you don't have health plan? And it is that you get sick. What happens if it is that you develop a critical illness and it is that you don't have a critical illness plan? Or it is that the breadwinner dies and not having life insurance? What happens? You have a problem there because it is that they don't have the finances that they want. So what's going on? So really like how it is that you're laying out, what it really takes towards being successful and able towards increasing your profit. So
Yeah.
you reach that figure on 20. Am I correct?
What's that? What's the last part?
You
Sorry.
reach on point 8?
I am on point 8, yes. Point 8 is to prioritize your tasks. And that simply means every single day, identify which are the top 3 things that you need to get done every day. Don't choose more than 3. Now, there may be more than 3 to get done, but what are the top 3 things that I must get done today? And actually, my advice to everyone is to try and schedule these top 3 things in the first half of the day if possible. Because as we know, life gets in the way. Things happen. What I would also advise to people is to work to time and determine a time limit for every single task. Every single task. Put a time limit in place and work to time. Check your time. If you have your phone, use technology. Have the alarm on your phone go off every 15 minutes so you know exactly where you are. If you're not on your phone and you're switching your phone off, always sit by a clock. Make sure that wherever your desk is, whether you have a personal office, whether you work in an office by someone, always have a clock around, even if you have to purchase one to put on your desk, where you can time yourself and measure and monitor your rate of effectiveness. It is very, very important. The rest after those 3 tasks, the rest of tasks that you have to do in the day, treat that like if you're doing an examination. In other words, lay out your tasks and identify which are the ones that you can get done quickly. In other words, if you have 10 tasks and out of the 10, you have 5 of them that will only take 15 minutes each, then do those first. Now, I'm not talking about the first 3 things that are priority. These are the other tasks after that. These other tasks, if those that will take a little bit of time, get those done first. So that at the end of the day, when you look at yourself, when you look at what you have achieved, you can see success. You can see success in your priorities, as well as you can see success in the other things that you would have had to do as well. You may or may not get everything done, but this is an easy way to achieve much more than you normally would. Any questions here, Ashley?
Oh, no. Continue. I want to just invite again, just let's stop a while. I see it is that we have those who are viewing. If there's any question at this time, we just want to stop for a while to one open it, we can trigger somebody towards asking a question. From those who are viewing. There's a Burma, there's a Lynn, there's Dennis, there's a Cheryl. Any one of you have any questions for Mr. Thompson that you want answered, or any comment that you want to make? Or did we continue? If you could just unmute and well, seems as though we have some individuals who just wrapped up with what it is you're saying here, Kevin. So continue.
All right, I'll just give 2 more and stop there. All right, take regular breaks every day. With all the productivity and all what you want to do, I know this sounds counterproductive, but segment regular breaks where you can get up, where you can stretch, where you can walk outside, get a little sunlight, get your daily dose of serotonin, drink some water. even if it's a 15-minute break, you can take a power nap, you can meditate. These take regular breaks whereby you can refresh your mind and not just go holistically down the stretch and get bored. The brain sometimes gets bored and sometimes it needs a break. So make sure, and these breaks don't have to be long. They could be 15-minute breaks, they could be 10-minute breaks. Try it out, see what works for you. And you will find that every time you walk away and you come back, you will find that you feel even more refreshed to get back into the work. All right? It's just a try.
Yes, so I see that, do you have a question there? See on the... Oh, no, maybe that you just mute gently. All right.
Okay, let me squeeze two more quickly and that's it. Number one, ensure that your workstation is ready for work. Ensure that it's set up with all of the resources that you need, that your seating is comfortable because you're going to be there for the whole day. If it is you have to get a standing table where you could stand and do your work, make sure that it's a comfortable place to work. Make sure that the temperature is right, and do whatever is necessary because you're going to be spending a lot of time there. So make sure that it really suits you. I'm seeing someone there. That's a question.
A question, everyone?
Okay, no. All right. The last one. Let me make this the last one, Lashley. Last but not least, hydrate yourself. Now, here's the thing. If you do not drink enough water and you are dehydrated, your brain is going to begin to shut down. You're going to have challenges focusing. You're going to start falling asleep. You're going to feel very lethargic during the course of the day when you are not properly hydrated. You will have challenges staying awake. And you will become very agitated very easily. I don't know if you've ever worked anywhere and you see people just always angry, always upset. Chances are they're not as hydrated as they should be. Last but not least, in this whole thing of productivity, I don't know if you've ever seen when a predator is hunting something and it actually identifies what it's looking to catch. It locks into it, it never moves. It doesn't matter what other animals are there, its eyes doesn't waver, its entire body and posture is positioned toward it because it's clear on what it needs to do and what comes next. I'm saying the same thing with everyone here. Decide really and truly what it is you want to do, how you would like to do it, and lock into it. Let absolutely nothing get in your way. Those distractions that you can get rid of them on your own. And if sometimes you find yourself getting in your own way, get help. Find somebody who can help you to get out of your own way so that you can achieve your goals and be happy. I guess this is why LB Global Solutions is here, to be able to share the word. And if they can't give you passage, I know Lashley will definitely give you direction. Everyone, it has been a pleasure.
Thank you very much once again, Kevin, for all the information.
Hello?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, good night. There's just one point I want to actually put forward there with Kevin, with what he mentioned towards that of hydrating. And that if it is that you're not properly hydrated, it is that you tend to feel lethargic. It's something that I would have experienced for myself, and I've adopted it, and I try to put it forward to everyone, is that along with hydration, is that to avoid being lethargic and unproductive behind the desk especially, make sure and use the washroom. Yes. Because of the fact that it tends to keep you from actually putting forward your best. It may not be that you might want to actually go, you might feel it is that you can afford to hold back or whatever, but you're just going and look to indeed be unproductive at those points in time. So that's my point at this point in time. Use the washroom before it is that you start, during, after. Make sure.
Thank you, Dennis. Thank you. Excellent point. Excellent point. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, good day, everyone. Lashley.
Yes,
just one thing I just want to get right after number 3, where you said to that's Kevin, to choose their friends wisely. What was the fourth thing? I kind of missed that one.
Learn to say no.
Learn to say no, right? Thank
Yeah,
you so
because
much.
you're welcome. You're welcome.
So it is that we
Um,
yes, go ahead,
I,
Dennis.
one thing it is that I will be taking away from this, which I have to adopt, is that of what Kevin said to indeed turn off your cell phone. Because I try to take breaks in between by actually checking the cell phone as opposed to taking the breaks strategically in that regard. So it's one thing that I will be taking away. Might be a bit difficult to adopt, but I will try my best.
Excellent. Excellent.
I know that would be a challenge for most people. It's as though it is we never had that time whereby you had the telephone where you'd be putting in coins one after the next, and I'm sure a lot of people would know that once upon a time you had to go to a telephone booth and put those coins in, right? So it is that that we know that would be a challenge for many individuals when it comes to us productivity, but it's something you have to implement if it is that you really and truly want to be. So, if there's anyone else that has any question or comment that they want to make, feel free to unmute. Right? But just to say thank you to Kevin for all the information that he has shared. You can also do just that.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Hi,
Hi,
Kevin.
hi.
Good to see you.
Hi,
I
Cheryl.
just have, yes, it is. I just have a comment, and I guess you can possibly confirm you or me. A couple of months ago, someone in the medical field advised that if you if you get to bed before midnight, right? Every hour before midnight is actually like 2 hours sleep on
Yes.
the body. So I was wondering if you've heard that before anywhere.
Yes.
Because I was wondering, because I know you said the 8 hours, get to bed 8 o'clock, around eight,
Yes.
9, and then you have to get up at 4. But if
Yes.
that is the case and it is true, then by midnight, if you go to bed at 8, you really had 8 hours sleep, basically, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right? So I was just wondering if you've heard that before.
Let me put it to you, Cheryl. That's an excellent point. Yes, I heard it before, and let me give you an idea of how well it works. From tomorrow morning, when you walk around in your workplace, start looking at everyone, and you can see all of the people who went to bed 2 hours before midnight, and all of the people who went to bed midnight and after. You can see the people who go to bed midnight and after, they age rapidly.
Oh, okay.
They age rapidly simply because, as I said, the body, there are certain sleep cycles that the body missed. So that every single day for 365 days per year, their brain and body missed cycles. So as a result, they depreciate and they degrade over the period of time. And when you look at that, it's like that is a habit. When you look at some young people today, they are 22 and they look like 40, simply because of their habits, of their daily rituals. They just don't value rest. And because they don't value rest, their body ages rapidly. So I'm saying if you want to stay forever young, value those hours before midnight and get rest.
Right.
Because they are precious, not just internally, but they are also precious externally. People ask me, Kevin, how you look so young? I'm 50 years old. They ask me, how do you look so young? I say, because I spend a lot of time sleeping. I sleep way before midnight. And it's a simple trick, but it works. You want to look young forever. You want to function at your best. You want to stay sharp. You want to be able to endure the challenges of the day. Get rest, and you'll be ripe for it in the morning.
Wow, you really preached a sermon there on behalf of sleeping and sleeping early. because I myself, it is that I find myself sleeping sometimes way after 12 o'clock. But based on your sermon you just delivered there, I would begin sleeping before 12 o'clock. So I must
Awesome.
say thank you very much, Kevin, for the introduction. Thank you to all those who contributed towards the program. We just have a small segment there that Chrissy, if that you could just share that information with us before that we wrap up.
Okay, so guys, for those of you who are joining us for the first time, I just want to take a few minutes to introduce you to our Wealth Trendsetters community. This was a community that was launched just about 4 weeks ago, and I am happy to share that within that frame time, we have grown our membership to 66 Wealth Trendsetters up to showtime. The Wealth Trendsetters community was developed as a platform to network and support individuals in seeking financial wellness and a peace of mind. Our mission is to empower people with the tools to set themselves financially free. So far, the group has been very interactive, very fun group. We have started and completed a number of practical and fun challenges where we created digital vision boards, we expanded our knowledge and participated in quizzes. And our current challenge is to grow our network. And by this, we are challenged to start and grow our LinkedIn network. So feel free to join us. Let us start our wealth building journey together. The link, along with other links to communicate with LB Global Solution, has been placed in the chat, so you all can take note of those links. Um, in keeping with our mission to support persons and businesses, we have offered participants who has businesses the opportunity to get their business or their service or their products highlighted in a 1 minute spotlight feature. So that's within this Ask Why show. So if you are interested in being spotlighted during our Ask Why show every other Sunday, please feel free to contact us. Um, Without going further, today our spotlight feature will be highlighting the business shop chat, which was introduced as an app that allows you to have your very own digital store accessed on WhatsApp. Imagine you can take orders and sell your products and services on a WhatsApp store with no transaction fees and no credit cards. This is surreal, guys. Take a look at this offer.
The screen isn't sharing, Chrissy. Can you
Just
share the
one
screen?
second, let me share.
Just drop with the shared song, Chrissy.
Okay, so I'll do it over. You all
Yeah.
wasn't hearing.
Yeah,
Okay.
No.
not some,
And it's a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it.
And it's a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. I'm a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. Comma and a comma. Gotta get it. And it's a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. I'm a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. Comma and a comma. Gotta get it.
Okay, so guys, if you are interested in owning your own WhatsApp digital store, feel free to contact us. I will just put a link to the owner of the shop chat in the chat so that you all can connect with that individual and open and own your own digital store. So you'll see the links in the chat and a number that you can call. So back over to you, Lashley.
Yes. So that certainly should be exciting for anyone who has a business, right? Because a lot of us use WhatsApp, and you get the information straight to the person's phone, so that know the person. Once you see that blue shows up, you know the person looked at it. But then there's some people who are able to have it where you're not seeing that blue showing up. But again, you can easily access the person to know if it is they saw your message and get your store, in front of your customers, right? So thank you very much for that information there, Chrissy.
Oh,
Uh,
and lastly, I just want to remind persons that if they want their businesses or their products and services to be spotlighted during the Ask Why show, you can feel free to contact us.
yes, feel free to contact us. So thank you all, everyone, for being part of the Ask Why show today. We appreciate your presence, and feel free to share the information with others and come on board. Every other Sunday, we'll be here to have your question answered, have a guest who it is we know would be able to share information that is really pertinent towards the time. So thanks again for your participation, and thanks again for being on the Ask Why show. Thank you.